For the solution of transportation problem, first of all we have to find the initial basic feasible solution. So we have the 5 methods for solving of for the initial basic feasible solution. So we will solve a single numerical using all 5 methods, and as I have told earlier in my earlier video that the value obtained, the total minimum cost obtained through the VAM method is the minimum. So after solving this question using different methods, we will be able to find the cost also, and then we can compare and can conclude that the VAM method provides the minimum cost. Okay, so let us start with the first method, northwest corner route. So this is the given transportation problem. These are 3 factories, F1, F2, F3, and these are the 3 warehouses. These are the supplies from different factories, and these are the demands for different warehouses. Okay, so before starting of a question, first we will utilize the first method as northwest corner rule. So the first step for starting a transportation problem is to check whether the given problem is a balanced problem or not. Now to check whether the given question is of balanced type or not, we have to check what the total supply and the total demand. Here the total supply is 10, 12, 8 is equal to 30, and also the total demand is 30. So as supply is equal to demand, that is 30, it is a balanced type of a transportation problem. Now we can proceed further. So our first method is northwest corner route. Okay, so using this method we will try to find the minimum transportation cost. Okay, now before moving to the northwest corner rule, you must be able to understand what is northwest. So if this is east, west, north and south, then this is the northwest direction. So if in this table you will see, this is the, now this is the north direction, this is the west. So the center of this north and west is northwest. So if you will see and it will compare with this diagram, you will see that this is the northwest direction. So what we have to do, after checking the balancing of the problem, we have to allocate the number of units to each of to the cell in such a way that the cost achieved will be minimum. So starting from first step, what we have to do, in case of northwest corner rule, first of all we will select this corner as this is the cell which lies in the most northwest direction. Okay, so in this case the warehouse 1 demands 6 quantity and there is a supply of 10 quantity. So we will put the allocation, we will make the allocation here which will satisfy either the demand or the supply. So here the supplies or the demand of warehouse 1 can be totally fulfilled as the supply is available 10 and demand is 10. So we will allocate the minimum of the two values, either of supply or the demand. Here the demand is less, so we will allocate all 6 units. Okay, so now the demand of warehouse 1 is complete, so there is no unit left, so this is 0, and out of 10 available supply 6 has been allocated, so the remaining value is 4. Now as you know that there is no more demand for warehouse 1, so this cell is now of no need. Okay, now again using the same rule, now this is the northwest corner, so now we have to make a location here. Now you know that there are only 4 supply available and demand is 11, so all supply will be allocated to this. Okay, so this has been allocated 4 units and this will become 0, no supply remains available here, and out of 11 demand 4 has been fulfilled, so remaining value is 7. Now again this column is of, this cell is of no use as there is no further supply available for this. Okay, now again moving to the northwest corner method, this is the most northwest cell, so now we will allocate the units to this cell. Now the available demand is 7 and the supply is 12, so all 7 can be supplied to this. Okay, and the demand can be fulfilled. Now after supplying 7 to this cell, the remaining supply available is 5. Okay, but there is no demand remain here, so this cell will not be made any further allocation. Okay, now moving to these values, we are having this as the most northwest corner, so we will make a location to this. Now what is happening, it has a supply of 5 and demand of 13, so only 5 can be supplied to it, so this is 5 allocated to this and there is no further supply available, but here the remaining quantity is 8 for the demand purpose. Okay, now this is the only cell which has remained now. Okay, so we will make an allocation. There is a demand of 8 and supply of 8, so all units has been supplied, all supply has been made and all demands has been fulfilled, so this has come out to be 0 and this is 0. Now you will see that all demands has been fulfilled and there is no pending supply here, so all the allocation has been made. Now you have to check whether m plus n minus 1 is equal to number of allocations, means that there is no degeneracy. Now m is what? M is number of supplies, 1 2 3. Here 3 suppliers are there, and n is what? Number of warehouses, 1 2 3. 3 plus 3 minus 1, so n plus n minus 1 is 5. And now we have to check how much allocations have been made here. Now you will see that 1 2 3 4 5 allocations has been made here, so m plus n minus 1 is equal to 5 and number of allocations is also equal to 5, so no degeneracy. Okay, we have to check degeneracy, because if there exists degeneracy we have to change the entire question. Okay, so now we can find the total cost. So as you know that this is the cost for 1 unit and 6 unit has been allotted, so for this cell the cost is 10 into 6. Similarly, all 5 allocation has to be multiplied with the unit cost, so that we can find the total cost. So 10 into 6 plus 13 into 4 plus 7 into 7 plus 13 into 5 plus 2 into 8, and this comes out to be 60 plus 52 plus 49 plus 65 plus 60, and it comes out to be 2 3 6 9 9 4 13 242 rupees. Now after northwest corner rule, the second method is the lowest cost entry or the matrix minima method. As the name suggests, we have to start with the allocation which have the minimum unit cost, and after allocation made to that unit, we will proceed in the similar manner for the entire allocations. Okay, so as the name suggests, first of all we have to state the minimum value from the allocation. So in this case 2 is the minimum unit cost, so the first allocation will be made to this cell. Okay, here you will see that the supply is of 8 and the demand for this warehouse is 13, so the entire supply of 8 unit can be made to this cell. So the first allocation will include to 8, and okay, so after supplying 8 quantity to this, there is no further item remaining with factory F3, but the warehouse demand is 13 and only 8 has been allocated, so the remaining amount or remaining demand is 5. Okay, now you will see that there is no further supply can be made for F3, so these two cells has to be ignored. Now after the second step, now as the first allocation has been made, now again from these 6 cells we have to choose the minimum unit cost value. So here 6 is the minimum cost value. Okay, so we will make the second allocation to this cell. Now you will see that only 5 is the demand for warehouse 3 and the supply is of 10, so we will allocate all these 5 units here, and the demand will become 0 and the supply will become to 5. Okay, now you will see that there is no further unit can be allocated to this warehouse as the demand has been fulfilled, so this amount will be cancelled. Okay, now in these 4 further cells you will see that 7 is the minimum cost, so the next allocation will be made to this cell. Okay, now here you will see that the demand is of 11 and the supply is of 12, so the minimum amount can be allocated to this. Okay, so 11 unit has been supplied to the cell and the demand is completed, so no further demand is available, but there is a single unit remaining here and it is more than 1. Now you will see that there is no further demand for this warehouse 2, so this cell cannot be made any allocation. Now from these two values you will see that 10 is the minimum value, 5 is the supply available for this set, and 6 is the requirement, so we will make an allocation of 5 units. Okay, here, so after supplying of 5 units there is no further supply available here, but the demand is not fulfilled and the 1 unit is still in the demand for warehouse 1. Okay, so this is the last cell. The supply available for this cell is 1 and demand available is 1, so this will be made here. Okay, so this is 0 and this is, now you will see that there are m plus n minus 1 value is 5. Okay, and the allocations made are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so there is no degeneracy, we can find the total minimum cost. Okay, so the total cost using this method is by multiplying the allocation to the unit value. Okay, so here 10 into 5 plus 6 into 5 plus 16 into 1 plus 7 into 11 plus 2 into 8, and if you will solve this, the amount is 50 plus 30 plus 16 plus 77 plus 16, and this is equal to 189 rupees. So this is the minimum cost using lowest cost entry method. Now this is after lowest cost entry method, this is the third method. The name is row minima method. As the name suggests, row minima, we have to make allocation starting from the first row. After completion of all allocations of row 1, then we will proceed to row 3 and similarly to the row 2 and row 3 respectively. Okay, so what cell we have to select? The select which is having the minimum unit cost. Okay, so starting with the first row, you will see that 10, 13 and 6 are the unit cost. So what we have to select? We have to select the minimum value in the row. So here 6 is the minimum value, so we have to make allocation to the first to the this cell. Okay, so here the supply is 10, demand is 13, so we will allocate 10 units. Okay, and the entire supply has been made. Okay, so this becomes 0 and the demand is remaining now 3 units. Okay, so as there is no further supply available for these two cells, so we will not consider them further. Okay, now as the row 1 has been completed, now we have to move towards the second row. Now in the second row you will see that 7 is the minimum unit cost, so next allocation will be made to this cell. Okay, here you will see that the demand is of 11 and supply is of 12 units, so all 11s can be supplied here and the demand becomes 0, but the supply is remaining of 1 unit. Okay, now you will see that no further allocation can be made to this warehouse, so this has been cancelled. Now you will see that after making allocation to this, the two cells are again remaining, and now we again what we have to select? We have to select the cell which is having the minimum unit cost. So 13 is the minimum unit cost, so we will allocate a single unit here as only a single supply is available. So 1 has been supplied here and this has become 0 and this will remain 2. Okay, as no further supply can be made to this way, this row, so this unit again cancelled. Now moving towards the third column, you will see that the minimum unit cost is 2, the demand remaining for this warehouse is 2, and the supply available from factory 3 is 8. So we will allocate all these two values to this cell. Now the demand becomes 0, but the supply remains the 6. Okay, now the only cell available for allocation now is this one. So the warehouse 1 has a demand of 6 and supply available is 6, so all 6 can be allocated to this. Okay, so you will see that as this is a balance problem, the m plus n minus 1 value is 5 and number of allocations is also 5, so no degeneracy. no degeneracy. Okay, so we can find the total cost. Okay, so total cost, if you will multiply this 6 into 10, 60, then 7 into 11, 77, in 13 into 1, 13, then 8 into 6, 48, and 2 into 2, 4, and the amount comes out to be 202 rupees. So this is the total cost which we have received using row minimum method. Similarly, the fourth method is the column minima method. Then what we have to do, we have to proceed in the same manner, but instead of selecting the minimum value in the row, we will select the values from the column. Okay, so the fourth method is column minima method. We will make some changes here and we will proceed. This is column minima method. Now we have to proceed in the similar manner to that of the row minima method, but instead of that method, we have to select the column first. Okay, so starting from the first column, we have to select the minimum value. Okay, so the minimum unit cost value is 8. So first of all, we have to make the allocation here. So the warehouse demand is 6 and the supply is of 8. So we will make an allocation of 6 units here. Okay, now you will see that after allocation of these 6, there is nothing remaining here, so, and the remaining balance here is 2. So there is no more allocation available for this cell. Now moving to the second column, you will see that 7 is the minimum unit cost value, so allocation has to be made to this cell. Again, the demand is of 11 and supply is of 12, so we will make an allocation of 11 here. Demand remains 0 and here the value remaining is 1. Okay, now you will see that again the demand for the column 2 has been fulfilled, so no further allocation can be made, so we are ignoring these 12. So now moving toward the third column, you will see that 2 is the minimum unit cost, so we will make the allocation here. The supply level is 2 and demand is of 13, so only 2 can be allocated. Now this becomes 0, this has become to 11. Okay, now no further, as it has become 0, no further allocation can be made to this column, as already it has been fulfilled also. Now choosing from 6 and 13, 6 is the minimum value, so allocation has to be made to this cell. Now the demand is of 11 and supply available is of 10 units, so all 10 units can be supplied to this cell. Okay, so no further supply is available, only balance demand is 1. Now this cell is remaining empty without allocation, so the demand is of 1 and the demand is 1 and the supply is available 1, so all units can be supplied to this. So this is 0, this is 0. Okay, again m plus n minus 1 is equal to number of allocations, so no degeneracy, then this means that total cost can be. Now again using column 1, 8 into 6 plus 7 into 11 plus 6 into 10 plus 13 into 1 plus 2 into 2, and if you will solve this equation, the amount comes out to be 202 rupees. So this is the column minima method. Row minima and column minima are same in the principle, but you have to taken care of whether you have to choose the row or whether you have to choose the column. This is the last and most important method for finding initial basic feasible solution. Okay, so the name is Vogel's approximation method or VAM method. It is also called as cost penalty method, as the allocation. So the different steps which are utilized here has been written here, and I will explain all these when they will be used in the question. So the first step is what we have to find the penalty. Okay, how can we find the penalty? We have to find the penalty for each row and for each column. So how can we find the penalty? There is a formula for finding the penalty, that is subtract the minimum value from the second minimum value. Okay, so let us see how we can find the penalties for rows and the columns. So selecting the first row, you will see that this is the minimum value and this is the second minimum value. So we have to subtract this minimum value from the second minimum value. So subtract 6 from 10. Okay, when you will subtract 6 from 10, okay, the amount is 4. Similarly, proceed to the second row. The minimum value is 7 and the second minimum value is 13. So subtract 7 from 13 and you will be having 6. Similarly, proceeding towards the third row, minimum value is 2 and the second minimum value is 8. So subtract 2 from 8. The answer is 6. Okay. Similarly, we have to find the penalties for the columns also. Okay. Now you will see that in the first column, the minimum value is 8 and the maximum value or the second minimum value is 10. So subtract 8 from 10. The answer is 2. For second column, you will see that the minimum value is 7 and the second minimum value is 13. So subtract 7 from 13. The answer is 6. Now again, moving to the third column, the minimum value is 2 and second minimum value is 6. So subtracting 2 from 6, the answer is 4. Now the second step is choose the maximum penalty from the row or the column. So we have to choose the maximum value from these and these rows, combining, taking them all in a combination. Okay, so we have 6 values here, 1 2 3 4 5 6, or we can say that we are having 6 penalties here. Now in the second step we have to choose the maximum penalty, but in this case you are having the 6 penalties, 6 as the maximum penalties, but it has been repeated. Okay, 1 2 and 3. So maximum penalty is 6 but it has been repeated. Okay, so now how can we choose the values? So you have to select the maximum penalty row or column and then choose if there is a contradiction or there is a clash between the maximum penalties. Then what you have to do, you have to select all the rows and the columns having maximum penalty and then choose that row or column, which is having the minimum cost. Okay, so in this case, if you will choose this 6, the value is not minimum. If you will choose this 6, the value is 2 here. Okay, and if you will choose 6 here, the minimum cost is not 2. So the minimum cost against these 3 6's is 2. So the priority is that we have to choose this row. Okay, so we will make the first allocation to this cell as it is satisfying the condition of a maximum as the row against the maximum penalty cell. So let us make a allocation to this cell. Okay, now this is the third requirement. Allocate to minimum unit cost cell for chosen maximum penalty row or column. Here we have selected this row as the cell is having a minimum cost here. So let us start making allocation here. Now the supply is of 8 and the demand is of 13. So we will make a supply of all 8 units here. Okay, then this value is 0 and this is 5. Okay, now no further supply can be made to these 2 rows or these 2 cells, so we will be neglecting them in further calculation. So now if you will see that there is no change in the penalties here, this cell is now not applicable. There is no change in the penalties here, so the penalty here will remain again 4 and here remains 6. But there is a change in the penalties under the columns. So here the minimum value is 6 and the second minimum is minimum value is 10, second minimum is 16. So subtract 10 from 16, this is 6. Again this is 7 and 13. So after subtraction we will be having 6 again. Now if you will subtract this 6 from 13, you will be having a value of what? 7. Now moving again to the same step, choose maximum penalty. In this case you will see that out of these 1 2 3 4 5 penalties, 7 is the maximum penalty. So we have to choose this column. Now in this column the minimum unit allocation cost is 6, so we have to make allocation to this cell. Now the available demand is 5 and supply is 10, so 5 can be supplied to here. Okay, so demand fulfills. So now no further allocation can be made to this cell. Okay, now again what we have to find, we have to move again to the first step. We have to find the penalties. Now in this case this column has been eliminated, so the value of penalty will definitely change. Here the minimum value is 10, maximum second minimum is 13. So subtracting 10 from 13, the value is 3. Okay, Now here 7, here 16, subtracting 7 from 16, this is 9. This is also not applicable. Now third column is not applicable. You will see that the demand will remain unchanged as there is no change in the lower cells of the two columns. Okay, so this is 6 again and this is 6 again. Okay, so after selecting the maximum value 9 from 4 penalties, we have to make allocation to this row. Okay, now in this row you will see that 7 is the minimum value, so we have to make an allocation here. Here the amount is 11 as a demand and it can be fulfilled by total supply as it is of 12. So it is 1, it is 0. So no further allocation can be made to this column. So there will no allocation to this cell. Again you will see that now the penalty cannot be eliminated, so cannot be identified, so this will remain not applicable. And if you will subtract that 10 from 16, it is 6, so you can so this is also not applicable, so you can make allocation to this column. Okay, so starting from the minimum value of unit cost, we have to make allocation. So 5 is the supply and 6 is the demand, so we will make an allocation of 5 here. Okay, so this will become 0 and this will remain as 1. Now again moving to this cell, the supply is of 1 and demand is again 1, so 1 unit can be allocated here. So for checking of degeneracy, you will see that the m plus n minus 1 is equal to 5 and the number of allocation is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there is no degeneracy and we can find the cost. So total cost is, multiply 10 by 5, it comes out to be 50. Then multiply 6 by 5, it comes out to be 30. Then multiply 16 by 1, it comes out to be 16. Plus 7 into 11, 77. Plus 2 into 8, 16. And this comes out to be 9, 189. Okay, so this is the total cost received, total minimum cost received using the Vogel approximation method. So after using different methods, we have found the cost for transportation. So from using northwest corner rule, we have found the value of 242 rupees. Lowest cost entry method, the value is 189. Row minima and row column minima method have the same transportation cost, that is those 202 rupees, and Vogel approximation provides a total minimum cost of 189. So it proves that the Vogel approximation can be the best method for finding the initial basic feasible solution, and it always provides the minimum cost if compared with all 5 methods. In this case, here by chance the lowest cost entry method also have the minimum cost equal to that of Vogel approximation method, but most of time you will see that the Vogel approximation is the best method. Okay, so in the next lecture we will study the optimization of the cost received using any of the methods. So we will use the UV or modified distribution method for optimization of these costs.